1460 WVOX. Stay tuned now for the Rooting for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is October 16th. We're here on WVOX, a Whitney Global Media station, and today's show is what I consider sort of automotive motorsports royalty. And we're going to have Tim McCready a little later, who's in the Lucas Oil Late Modified Dirt Series. He's going for the championship this weekend and a $100,000 purse out of Portsmouth, Ohio Raceway. And then coming up in a moment is going to be Dan Short, who is the owner of Phantom Works, which is a custom car builder down in Norfolk, Virginia, where I was stationed for a lot of my military career. And he's also a veteran of the United States Army Special Forces, having served in the 7th Group. So without further ado, Dan, are you on the line?
I am. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's actually our honor. Like I said, you're like veteran royalty to us. Like, I was going to say the Duke, but I know there's another show that has that. But certainly you're a person that I think people look up to. And personally, having made the transition from military service, anytime I see someone who's an entrepreneur like yourself, I'm really appreciative. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. The time in the military was easily the most fun I ever had. Transitioning to becoming a business owner was a big challenge and actually far more stressful and difficult even than being in combat. So for me, it's been a rather interesting set of job opportunities I've sort of challenged.
Oh yeah, for sure. And tell how did you get into that coming out of before I talk about your military experience? How did you even get into that? That was like. And especially in Norfolk, Virginia, I mean, do the Navy guys give you a hard time? Like, what's going on?
Well, my wife is Navy, so I can only speak so ill of the Navy. But no, I respect all services.
Yeah.
I wound up in Norfolk because of my wife. With her in the Navy, I needed to be assigned somewhere that was co-located with lots of those big gray boats, and Norfolk happened to be the place. I actually worked up in the Williamsburg area at Fort Eustis while she was down here at the NOB. So that's how an Army guy came to be in a Navy place. But starting the business was just one of those things. I think it's sort of that fire that burns in some people that you're not going to be happy until you are creating jobs, creating things with your hands, and that's really it. I mean, we could talk for hours about it, but the long story short, it was just a burning desire to create something, and that something turned out to be, of course, classic and custom cars.
Oh yeah, no, and I think I've told my listeners before too, and all my friends, that I get a lot of catharsis working on my car. In fact, this morning I had to drive our Dunning Toyota Land Cruiser here through the rain. But I really enjoy like pulling it apart, putting it back together. But I use it as a daily driver, so I have to put everything back together quick. So.
And yeah, the word you use, cathartic, is absolutely perfect. That I feel very sorry for a lot of the young people growing up today, having only experienced things like cell phone video games and Xbox, when in fact the thing that we look back on with very fondness is, having created something. I don't care whether you took a 2x4 and carved something out of it, or you put a vacuum cleaner back together, or sort of the ultimate goal would be to build an airplane or a car. When you get done with it, there is an immense sense of satisfaction in turning some old junk into something just magnificent. And for a lot of people that will never get a chance to experience that, I actually feel very sorry for them, because it's an amazing experience.
Listen, and I think even someone who I'm a student of the humanities, it's that sort of creation process. When you have sort of that glue or the like clay, and in your case maybe like an old car that was coming back from the grave. I think that's really important, and I think that it's something you can aspire to. And to your point, like if it's a 2x4 and you have like a knife, you can whittle something. Those sorts of things matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, we all identify in life with the things that we do. Look, if you work at Walmart as a greeter, when someone says, "Hey, what do you do?" You know, you don't talk about what you do at home. You talk about what you do for a living. And so
For sure.
the ability to say, you know, we bring back, you know, American legends and put them back on the road again. I got to tell you, for me and the guys and gals that work for me, I for all of us, the very, very proud part of our lives.
That's amazing, Dan. And listen, thanks again for what you do. And you know, I think that you're just an amazing person. So let me ask just a couple other questions. So one of the things I like about the Green Berets, and as you probably know, I work with a lot of guys out of the 7th group, as I like to call it, the Red Empire. You know, I know you're a 5th group guy, and we'll get to that. But one of the things I'm really always impressed with the Green Berets is that their ability to engage with people. And I think that's part of your kind of training pipeline, right?
Absolutely. There's something unique about being in a small operational detachment like that. You know, when we travel in the world, unlike I later became part of the conventional army. I was an Apache pilot, and you know, I had a group of 500 people supporting me and my aircraft and things like that. But as a Green Beret, you know, you're working with individuals. I mean, we lived in caves. We worked in some of the most austere conditions. And there was just usually between 10 and 12 of us, and it was rather interesting, the completely different dynamic of working in that environment. So,
do you think that really prepared you though to like work the smaller unit environment? You probably do at Phantom Works too, I would think, right? Like with that you're looking out for each other, and everyone else has got each other's back.
Well, it is, and the guys completely get it. What we do is a lot like small team operations, and for those that embrace it, it's the best experience of their lives. But for those that aren't quite ready for like the discipline and the requirement to step up all the time and do your job, it can be a very painful experience. And
for sure.
And I've let go of several attempted wannabes that, you know, they thought they wanted it, but when push came to shove, they simply weren't there and ready to 100%.
Yeah, and I think that is testament to your success both in uniform and obviously in the as an entrepreneur. So I have a question for you that one of my folks sent in. Who and you don't have to say name, but like explain like your toughest customer you ever had at Phantom Works.
Wow.
So many. Where do I start?
You know, that list is long and distinguished, unfortunately. I will tell you about one who I will let him remain nameless because I really don't need him coming back on me. But I had a customer who, when we sat down and he said, you know, I want a car that does, you know, 700 horsepower and the best handling car in the world and completely handmade custom body. You know, we talked numbers and I said, look, what you're asking for is $150,000 in materials and $150,000 in labor. So, you know, are you ready for this? And he said, absolutely. And he couldn't wait to sign the documents. Yeah. Then, you know, so we started with a guarantee of a $300,000 project for what he wanted. And I'll never forget that when we hit $190,000, he started writing me just the nastiest letters in the world. And I said, hey, sir, anytime you want to quit, you know, please feel free to quit. And no, we'll keep going. And he just, the letters got nastier and nastier. And then when we hit 200, he said, I'm going to get my attorney. And I said, sir, you can quit anytime. And he finally agreed to quit, which of course he later recanted and begged me to finish his car. But at that point, you can't imagine how relieved I was that he had actually threatened me and said, you know, I'm going to quit. So what I find interesting about the world of building cars is, you know, my crew and I are afraid of no car in the world. I don't care if you say you want to make a car fly, I believe in, and I say that with absolute sincerity, we can make a car come off the ground and fly. But
amazing.
It's the customer that terrifies me. No car project has ever scared me, but customers scare the living crap out of me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And this vehicle is now known as like Optimus Prime, right? It's like a transformer.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know, when these customers decide to build these nightmare builds, believe it or not, I spend hours trying to talk them out of it.
Right.
I spend my time trying to convince them, why don't we build a reasonable car that's reliable, that you're actually going to enjoy, rather than trying to build the world's craziest car that, you know, is going to be. Look, anytime you try to cut the leading edge on too many different sort of fronts, you're going to run into problems. And I do my best to talk my customers into reasonableness and smaller bills. And believe it or not, they work as hard as they can to talk me into unreasonable, unrealistic projects.
Right. But I think that that's testament to all of your training in the military and dealing with people and being a successful entrepreneur. So, you know, bravo to you, sir.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, it's been a great life so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I don't have a whole lot of regrets about things I haven't tried yet.
That's awesome. And listen, I'm sure we're gonna. I know the show's just in kind of reruns on Motor Trend, but I'm sure we'll see some amazing stuff on your website. And what is the website so that the listeners out there can tune in and see what's going on?
Exactly like the show, phantomworks.com. And in fact, the new exciting project we're going to start doing on November 14th, we're going to do weekly videos on it. We're building a car, a 57 Corvette that is part of a giveaway. So, you know, people write me all the time and they say, I wish we afford one of your cars. Well, we're gonna build a 57 Corvette and raffle it off for charity, and it's also part of a in conjunction we're going to be giving a book with the purchase of 5 raffle tickets. You'll be able to get a book that you know I've written. So that's kind of the new phase and exciting venture in my life.
Well, I'll be one of the first people lined up to get that book. So rest assured. And we're actually Racing for Heroes, we're gonna be down there December 4th, so that Friday. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
I look forward to seeing you then and putting on the event at the shop, and I hope to see a lot of folks there.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the 773 car as well, and I have some former shipmates coming who are now like captains and admirals down there, as well as just, you know, folks on the kind of community. So we're excited about it. And Dan, listen, thanks again. I have Tim on the phone, so I'm gonna have to cut it off there. But Dan, thank you again, and I will see you in December.
My pleasure. We'll see you then.
All right. All right. Hey, everyone. So it's Brett Morash still here. Listen, our next guest is Tim McCready, who is, again, like I said earlier, he is racing royalty. He is driving the number 39 car, which is also a Racing for Heroes car, supported by Patriots Motorsports and Mega Plumbing, and is in the Lucas Oil late model dirt series. And this weekend out at Portsmouth, Ohio, he is going for a $100,000 purse. And the car owner is Don Bradshaw. And so without further ado, Tim, are you on the line?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, we're super excited to have you here, and obviously good luck this weekend. How's the weather out there? Are you guys a go, or what's the story?
Yeah, everything's good. We tested last night in North Carolina, and then finished up and drove up here, and we're just getting unloaded to get ready to start later tonight.
Oh, roger that. And I think the guys from Racing Heroes from the headquarters down in Virginia, I think they're all up visiting as well. I don't know if you had a chance to bump into Mike Evok and some of those guys.
No, they're going to be here a little later. We just, like I said, some of the stuff we started testing, and when you have to do it, of course, is you don't want to test during the day, so we test at night when the track's a little better, and drove most of the night to get up here, and now we got some serious work. The show won't get rolling until about 6 or 7 tonight, and then the show will happen then. And like I said, everything they do for us, we really appreciate it. And Racing for Heroes is an amazing thing you guys are all doing for the people that are keeping us safe to be able to do what we want to do. That's for sure.
Oh no, listen, and Tim, you know, you driving around the track, and you know when you get up on the podium, and you know you're talking to people about what we do, and you know the things like the suicide epidemic facing, you know, the veteran community, and things like homelessness, employment, housing, you know, those things matter. And, you know, you have that bully pulpit to do that. And so we're super pleased that you're part of our team as well.
Yeah. And I really appreciate it. I mean, you know, I think everybody in life's always looking to try to help each other. Yeah. I know sometimes it gets contentious and everybody's at each other's throat in certain times of our life. But
Yeah.
you know, to sit back, if it wasn't for what all our veterans and everybody does, we wouldn't be able to sit here and argue about minuscule things when you think about it at the end of the day. So if I can do a little bit, it makes people smile. That's cool for me.
No, that's a good point, and I think the way you put that is amazing. Is that, you know, we're able to have these kind of dialogues, and even though it does get kind of testy at times, you know, especially right now with the election kind of looming, you know, I think people there. But let's talk about the racing. So I didn't realize that even on dirt track, it's kind of a temperature issue. So, and you know, it's kind of mild right now, but what is the difference between a dirt track during the day and a dirt track at night?
Well, it's mostly like the racetrack. So they have to put moisture down in it and dig it up and lay the surface back down to promote good racing, because it just, as the track dries, it just gets harder to race like wide and different lanes and maneuver around, just because as tracks dry, they start to take a little bit of rubber, take a little bit of rubber from our tires. You just can't move around. So most of us don't really enjoy day racing just because of that fact. It's usually sun, and it doesn't even matter about temperature of the day. It's more sunshine on the track, and it just hurts the racing. So racing is always for us.
Oh, that's fun. And I guess Portsmouth, Ohio is where you guys are. And how do you like that track? I mean, I know it's sort of like the end of the year for you as well, right?
Yeah, we got like maybe 2 more weeks. So this is one of our quote-unquote crown jewel events, big race with enormous money to win. So it's an exciting place. We pulled it in today, and they've had another division running last night. So it's jammed to the gills right now, man. So
that's amazing.
Amped up for this, man. I don't know what's going to amp you up.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. Hey, so I do have some kind of technical questions people are asking me online. So kind of the first question is that what was your sweetest victory ever?
Oh man, it's tough to pin down. I mean, when we won,
because you win so much
over there in Oklahoma in a midget car, probably 10 years ago or more now. I never had ran them cars before, and it's a big event that has many different types of drivers in it because it's during the winter and nothing's going on. So it'd probably be it's like I said, it's turned into an event where you'll see NASCAR drivers run, IndyCar drivers run, off-road trucks, and plus all kinds of other dirt racing on top of that. So it's a unique event, and it was cool to win that. Yeah,
and who is the best driver you've ever raced against?
Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, I've run
so many.
For me personally, it's Bob McCready, my dad.
Oh, that's amazing.
In my opinion, he's the best. But I guess that people have known, obviously, Tony Stewart's run with us. So
Smoke,
Jeff Gordon popped in here and there. And a lot of the NASCAR guys over the years have popped in just because I think they enjoy the competition and at our level. And through its racing competition, guys can be professionals at it. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You don't have the pressure of all the corporate people all the time. And you can have some fun and relax and entertain people without having that much ratcheted up. So I think people enjoy racing with us when they can.
Yeah, because you grew up kind of in the Watertown area of New York. I'm down in New Rochelle is where we're transmitting from.
Yeah, yep. I actually, believe it or not, worked out at Fort Drum as a civilian for 4 or 5 years. In a military tank helicopters, Cobras and Apaches and stuff like that when I first started racing. So,
that's amazing.
The military's pretty close to where I grew up, and that's very important
to really,
everybody in our town up there.
Yeah, 10th Mountain. And I don't know if you heard Dan Short on a little earlier. I didn't realize he was an Apache pilot in addition to being a Green Beret. Like, that's got to be like a Dan Short kind of like little known facts kind of thing, but that's amazing. I didn't know you worked on Apaches. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I did just for a few years. We did some foreign sales contracts and things like that, refurb, and then it was awesome. I mean, to be able to get out and see different things, and the military, to me personally, is amazing how much they have to keep up with. It's not just running in there and doing their job. There's a lot of maintenance and a lot of they don't get as much credit as they deserve for how hard they got to work and everything they do. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's why like I said, Dan was on a little earlier, but like it's that sort of like 12-hour kind of day, but you're also looking at it from like the military guy. It's like it's every day, 24/7, and I think that even as a contractor, you probably saw some the pressure that it is to get the birds going and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the test pilots were amazing, and just most of the people had been in the military. I was fortunate enough that they hired me, and I was young, and I was racing at the same time, and it was just a unique part of my life. I've had a pretty cool life, so I'm not going to complain about anything.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And so another kind of technical question. So I like I said, I know Mike Evox up there, but you guys actually have a car part in common, this Longhorn chassis that the whole car is kind of built around. And can you just tell us a little bit about, I didn't realize the chassis that were that much different, but what's kind of special about the Longhorn chassis?
Well, I mean, I guess with the Longhorn chassis, for me personally, was we'd been with different manufacturers, and then I met the Labanis, Justin Labani and Terry, his dad, and obviously Bobby Labani, the NASCAR racers. They started a chassis company, and we just had some meetings and got to talking, and then decided to buy one, and it just kind of flourished. And their cars, for me personally, were just a little easier to work on, I would say, as far as the baseline setup. You can really miss a little and still be competitive, and just the attention to detail that they got and the way they build stuff is just like anybody. The NASCAR community or the IndyCar community, people like that, they are very meticulous and very good at craftsmanship, and that's kind of why we ended up there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, and listen, and I saw them building the 773 car down in Virginia, and I mean, there's just things that like people don't even realize, and I think it's unique to kind of the type of racing you're doing with, like even the engine is slightly offset from center because it's really a weight issue.
Yeah, we go through and even so, like the motors run better when they're level. So if the car's gonna travel, say from the ground up in the air 12 inches or however far it's gonna travel, the motor gets all laid over the wrong way, and things like this. So it's just more efficient. The drive line's more efficient. You can twist these engines, and which is unique to this division. I've been in other divisions where the way the cars are built, there's no ability to do any of that. So these cars very ahead of their time when it comes to technology and things like that, comparable to some of the other divisions in the country.
Yeah, and I think they're incredible. I had, like I said, I had a chance to see the 773 car, which is very similar to what you're driving. I mean, you can even adjust on the fly, right? The front braking versus the rear braking, right? Like a balance.
Yeah, they have a lot of. They used to have a ton of in-car adjustments, which we've slowly got rid of that just for the help some of the local people that don't race as much. And it's hard to divisions. You want them all to prosper. You want to be able to have a guy that can work 50, 60 hours a week, show up and be competitive. And if you give us too much as professionals in-car adjustments, it just makes these guys feel like they can't compete. So we're down to a brake bias, which is pretty cool. So you can, if you feel like you're loose into the corner and you slide too much, you put more front brake, and you can do that right as you're racing under the green flag.
It's like a crank, right? Like I kind of remember seeing at least in the 773 car.
Yes, yep, just like that.
Yep. So, I know that we talked a little bit earlier today. So I heard you had a tire go down at Super Dirt Week. What happened, and how did you get around that?
Oh, it's just one of those things. I told you earlier, Super Dirt Week race for us when I was growing up was probably the biggest race that we ran, and my dad was fortunate enough to win it once. And it's a 200 lap race on a mile track with pit stops, live pit stops, and everything. So it's a grueling race. And as a kid, that was my Daytona 500. So I'd run there many, many years, led a bunch of laps, and really that was probably the most competitive we've been, where there's only 4 or 5 laps left, and they had a bad wreck, so they red flagged it. And I was just sitting on a backstretch, and believe it or not, a fan yelled through the fence, tell me I had a flat right rear, and we ran radios and things of that nature. It's just, it's about as heartbreaking for me personally as anything I've ever done, just because I've never won the race, and now the mile track's gone because of economics and everything else. And, it's just one of those deals. I mean, you try not to look back, but that was probably my biggest break in racing.
That is tough. That's tough. Well, at least your dad won it, though, so he's probably got that hold that over you. So.
Yeah, that's okay. He's won so many more than I have. I've had a very good career, but his career is like being on steroids, I would imagine, that's for sure.
No, like, listen, he's incredible. You're incredible. So just a couple other questions. So tell me about the race team. I know Pala Motorsports, Don Berchier, and his daughter are all involved. Any little shout outs for them? Yeah,
the whole family. I mean, Donald and Gina, obviously, they don't have to do what they're doing. Donald raced for many years, and he still races a little bit from time to time. And then Gina and them sponsored us last year, and they came to me, and we had a different team I was driving for. And like you said, they have really been a blessing personally for me, because I've been racing a long time, and I've had a very good owner before these two came along. And they just have pumped the program up, and sometimes you need a little bit of new blood to get things going, and their attitudes are so great and very positive, and it's taught me to be more positive and to look at things in a different light. And I think that's why we've been very successful.
That's awesome.
They surrounded me with so many good people.
It's all about the community. I mean that in the veteran space. I mean that in the real world outside of the veteran space, you know, so it's amazing. And so kind of last thing, I know it's, you know, this race is a big deal. What channel is it being shown on this weekend?
I believe it's on the Lucas. It's only on an app, you know, Lucas Oil Racing TV app. So, which is a beautiful app. I mean, heck, the clarity on that thing's as good as any TV that I have in my house.
Oh,
so
very cool.
It's an amazing thing. It'll be 100 laps. It's a 2-day event, so we'll start tonight with heats and get the feature lined up for tomorrow. And tomorrow will be a 100-lapper for 100,000 to win. I mean, somebody's going to go home pretty happy.
And of course, everyone in the Racing Fury universe is putting out good karma that it's your car. I'm for sure.
I hope it is. I mean, we've been close in this one and had a lot of bad luck at this place too. But we're usually really fast, and hopefully we can put this Racing Trail cars up front. Oh,
that's outstanding. That's outstanding. And like I said, we're just getting ready to get to the end of the show. So I just want to thank you again, Tim, and seriously, all the best luck this weekend. So thank you so much.
Anytime, man. It was a privilege to be on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, race fans, you know, it is coming to the end of our show yet again. Just to give everyone an opportunity, we are running a 5K virtual race. Please go to our website, www.racingforheroes.org. Sign up. You get a free T-shirt or you get a belt buckle, and it'll be just absolutely amazing. So really looking forward to that, everyone. And have a great day and a great weekend, and watch the race.